Yes, sure. I will do it now. Thank you so much, Kate. So our next speaker is one fantastic lady, as she talked now. Our team, Lily Excellence Center team, and she's Gail Johnson, CPM. Yeah, LM retired and international traveling midwife. She's author of Gentle Birth Visionary from Canada. Gail Johnson is one of our fantastic training team, and she's all of my heart. All of the midwives from different parts of the world were impressed by her feeling and the way she's training. Honestly, I'm telling you, I feel she's angel of midwifery. Please, Gail, over to you. I cannot explain you what you are, just I can tell you, you are from God and one of the inspiration of midwifery in the world. Love you, please.
Well, after listening to all you girls, I feel very humbled and realizing that I don't have the most patience in the world. For years and years and years, I started out trying to empower women just to breastfeed, then to take childbirth classes, and then to help people in labor and all of the things that everybody's talked about. I was in private practice for a long time in Texas because I'm a Canadian, but I married an American. And I took direct entry midwifery training after years of being a counselor. I took that because I was led that way, and I have a big story about that, but we won't talk about that. And so when I went there, I was already a businesswoman. I was already into women empowering. So I became very actively political in Texas. And so I got on the Texas Midwifery Board because I needed to try to reach the establishment, the people that were in power, which was the Texas Medical Association, to establish midwifery in Texas. And we did that. We did that. So I was mostly political active and a lot of frustration, but dedicated. And so then when my husband retired, I decided to be a traveling midwife. So I want to talk to you about being a traveling midwife and why I do that. Most people don't even know what a traveling midwife is. That means right now I have no base. I live wintertime, I live in Belize, summertime, I live in Canada. But the world is my base. And how did I get into that? Because I was getting so many requests. Once my husband made me this little web page. I love to travel. And as everybody knows, it's a midwife. If you have one lady a month, you can't go anywhere. So for 30 years, I had a big practice in Texas. I couldn't go anywhere except to go to the legislation to fight. So what I did when we made the website, Midwife Without Borders, I decided that that's what I was going to do. And you will not believe the demand that I got for this. It was amazing to me. And I had women from all over the world, from Russia, from Hong Kong, from Portugal, from Mexico, from Chile, all over the world wanting a better birth because they'd been traumatized, as Judah talks about. They'd had a C-section and they realized it was unnecessary. They had been abused verbally, mentally, socially, spiritually in a hospital environment. They had basically post-traumatic stress disorder. Some of them couldn't afford to go to the hospitals in their country because the cost, like the US. Some of them before were not aware of their choices. And so I began traveling and I found a few other midwives along my way. But we all know the things that, now this is gonna, I'm not against doctors, I'm not against hospitals for the high risk ones. But as Lily says, 80% of the women, all they need is love and kindness and to be in a position to let their bodies work. And I firmly believe that cannot be done in a hospital. If you have never seen a home birth, you won't even understand what I'm talking about. It's like if you've never tasted chocolate, you wouldn't know what it is. But I've had so many people in a hospital environment, nurses, midwives, doctors, attend and share home births with me to find out. And they've been totally shifted. They were in tears because they'd never seen a woman give birth with the pain and the love and the family support that they saw there. So we all know laying on your back reduces the woman's pelvis by 30%, which is why the C-section rate is so high. Early cord clamping, which is a big in thing now. My gosh, we never did that. We gave the baby all the blood it needed. We did so many things. And you as midwives have to realize that the experience they have with you, be that hospital, home, clinic, back of a taxi, whatever it is an experience they will remember the rest of their life, and they will pass it on to the next generation because their children say, "Hi, Mom, how was I born?" And that mother may burst into tears. My own mother burst into tears when she came to a home birth with me, when she flew down to Texas, and she herself had never experienced a home birth. She had babied me in the 40s, right? My dad dropped her off at the hospital. He was told to go home. That was it. That was the last she saw of him for 4 or 5 days. So what I see when I attended births, when I took my training and I attended births in a hospital, what I saw was fear, pain, physical, verbal abuse, and even subliminal abuse. Just the fact that you got to take off your clothes, you got to hook up to a machine, you got to have an IV, the oxygen tank is right over there. That's all subliminal fear. And also they were not given choices. What do? All I give them is confidence. I give them tranquility. An animal will slow its labor down or it will stop if the woman is fearful and tense and upset. And we can increase natural birth. I don't believe you can have a natural birth in a hospital. Sorry, I don't. You can have a vaginal birth and you can have a nice birth. You can't have a natural birth in the hospital because the environment isn't natural. I believe death should be at home and I believe birth should be at home. And I'm strong on this. You can all hear that. So what I found mostly was needed is education, motivation, and facilitation. Help the mother to learn about her body and her birth. We have to, in hospitals, what can we do? I want to work with doctors. I want to help women that need to go to a hospital have a good birth. Well, we can start by taking the clocks out of there. We can start by saying, if you don't dilate to 5 centimeters in 2 hours, we're going to have to do a C-section. Right there, you with your words have ceased her ability to let go and let nature work. I've seen doctors come in and never introduce themselves to a woman in a hospital and then say they want a glove to do a vag exam on her, and they don't even know that doctor's name. Also, we got to learn to sit on our hands. We don't have to be doing all the vag exams we're doing. We have to stop restricting movement in hospital. Get those fetal monitors off her body. It's not evidence-based care. She doesn't need them. She needs to walk around. She needs to be hugged. She needs to change her position. I study health, not disease, is what I'm saying. I study solutions, but not the problems. And I really respect people that do a lot of research. And then they tell me what works. After years of research, they finally decided that maybe not cutting the cord was a better thing. But I've been doing that for years. So I feel more reinforced about it. So I do respect research, but not the process and the years that it takes. Don't tell a woman when to push. Would I tell you when to have a bowel movement? That's the most ridiculous things I see happening. Some of the things done at home could be done at the hospital. I don't know, ladies. I'm amazed at you. But I've been called to come to Turkey, Hong Kong. Why am I being called there? Because these women can't find the birth they want. The birth that their heart is saying, this is how I want to deliver my baby. So I'm not delivering thousands of babies anymore. but I am delivering one family at a time. I'm helping that woman become, and her whole family, become empowered. The fathers are empowered. I let them catch their babies. I try to create families, and I have helped many, many people, but I don't care about what I've helped. I want to create strong families, and they will spread the word. The only way we're going to change birth, ladies, is from the consumer. The consumer has to demand it, because the hospitals are too slow to change, way too slow. So I keep getting phone calls, and you have to know, when I go there, I don't have any permission to practice there. I go because I love those women, and they are not going to have another horrible birth. They're just not. So what I'm feeling today is I'm celebrating you that are here in this thing, the doctors that are here, the midwives that are here, the consumers that are here, the students that are here. You're all just darling people. And I'm celebrating you, because my time is going away. So I'm kind of jealous. I'm jealous of the trials and the tribulations and the days of anger you're going to have and the frustrations you're going to have. But I'm also jealous of the wonders that you will see and experience. Believe me, you have no idea about the joy of looking into that newborn's eyes with the mom and seeing the baby take the first breath and look at its mother and father, hear the father's voice. The children to come in and welcome that child. It's not allowed in any hospitals. So that's why I say it can't be in a hospital or a clinic. But I've done it, and I've shared my love with these families, and they've shared their love with me. I've learned so many cultural things, seen so many wonderful things. And by the way, I'm still catching babies, and I'm still traveling, and I'm still teaching. So if you want to learn more about being a traveling midwife, because I need more traveling midwives, there's more demand than I can make, go to my website. It's Midwife Without Borders. Tell me your stories. Tell me your dreams. Maybe I can help you have them. So with that, that's all I have to say. I love you all. You're wonderful.
Thank you so much, Gail. Wonderful, fantastic work, like always. We have to learn from you. Please, if anybody has questions, write in chat box. If you want, even you can turn on your video and ask from Gail.
No questions. I know. I guess you could ask me, how I get to do all this stuff, but I can only answer that longer term.
You have 10 minutes time. If you want to ask question, please ask any question, any doubts, any experience. Yeah, please. Yes.
When I hear there's no births in some countries, I find that very sad.
Is anybody raising hand, please?
I could hear someone then, but I couldn't see who it was. It didn't flash on my computer. Please do speak again.
All right, I'll talk.
Utah.
I have a question. Because, Gail, I appreciate your work very much, and I'm a big lover of home birth because I've done home birth, so I understand exactly where you're coming from. It's the most peaceful environment for giving birth, there is no doubt. However, there's countries where we know home birth is even illegal, like Hungary, yeah? And so, for me, I also see the bigger picture. I love your aspect of birth, and I'm all with you. But I also think we have to get up and stand up for those countries that do not offer this choice. And you and me also know even that you go in countries where, you know, you're not registered. But I feel also the thing is, you know, there's a bigger picture to that, because we know in the world, in countries where we have midwives, where we have home birth, for instance, our liability insurance is going up like crazy, makes it almost impossible. Yeah. And so, you know, for me, I want to see the bigger picture, and I want to hear what is your aspect on that.
Well, as I say, the demand has got to come from the consumers, Donna. We cannot, there's not enough midwives, there's not enough voices to change the laws, to change the rules, and to change the regulation. The only thing that changes it is money and power, and we all know this. So political power, money power, consumers taking their money away from a hospital that is being abusive, spreading the word, hiring a midwife to come in and do a home birth, because this is how we create change. You cannot just go along with the rules and the laws in your country, ladies. You can't, because it'll take another 50 years to change everything. And I just don't have that many years left. So I'm putting my life on the line to go into a country and to deliver a baby. But you know, I've never had troubles. I've communicated with the doctors there. I work with the doctors there. They say, oh, we don't have a home birth midwife in our country. And I say, no, would you like to come and see and watch? But you can't always work within the system. Somebody has to step outside the system, because when wrong is being done, it doesn't make it right to say, I'm going to work at it politically. It takes too long. How many more years do you want a woman to be abused in a hospital, you know, that is doing wrong things, not even evidence-based care? How can you watch that? I can't watch that anymore. And I have a lot of women that I work with that they can't watch it either. So I have to say, it has to come from the consumer. And if the consumer wants me to come and deliver her, and then the word spreads around, I deliver other 10 people, then those 10 will tell 10, who tell 10, who will tell 10. Has to be the consumer. Cannot be arguing with the doctors, arguing with the hospitals, arguing with the bureaucrats. They will not change. They will, because of money, power, they're jealous. They don't want women to have, they don't want this, they don't like this, they won't surrender. Now, the few doctors that we have contacted, we all meet wonderful guys, we all meet wonderful women, doctors, but they're one or two, and they're not going to give your lady the birth that she wants or that you want her to have when they have 15 peer pressure doctors saying, you do that, you're out of our hospital. They're not. Somehow the woman has to say, I'm not coming to your hospital because you won't let me do what I know is right based on evidence-based care. I'm out of here. I'm sorry, it has to come from the consumer. So I support the consumer having the birth they want, so then they have the joy to share with other women. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much, dear Gail. I think because of COVID and Rona policies, many countries started to think about home birth. And I heard some countries, they are sending their proposal to us to train their midwives to become as an individual trained midwife, and they can handle and manage home birth. So it is a maybe good news after COVID. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.